We had COVID.
Yeah,
We had COVID.
We're slow.
Cuando yo quiero venir a corte,
because I had COVID, you know, that's.
Judge, we're good.
Good morning, it's 9 o'clock, July the 25th, 2022, and our regular Commissioners Court meeting is now in session. First item on the agenda is roll call by our County Clerk, Mary Jane Laviapano. Mary Jane.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Judge Rathmel,
Present.
Commissioner Mendoza, Commissioner Elizondo, Commissioner Solis,
Present.
and Commissioner Garza. We have a
Present.
quorum, Judge.
Thank you, Mary Jane. Next item is our invocation by Pastor Roger Miller, Commissioners Court Chaplain.
Good
Dr.
morning.
Miller, good morning.
Good morning.
Let's bow our heads again if we would, and let's pray. Our Father, Creator of all, we gather this morning to participate in the important matters that directly the lives and the futures of your people. This court, our judge, commissioners, elected and appointed officials, they come together this day seeking to make decisions which would benefit the greater good of this community. May they respond to your guidance as they evaluate each issue and condition presented today in this court. May they ask for and receive clarity when matters seem unclear, patience and tolerance when brevity is easier, and wisdom and forgiveness when opposing opinions present themselves. And may you grant our leaders health and strength in body, in mind, and in spirit for the tasks that lie ahead. And may they be assured of your help and this time at hand. And in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item is communications, Commissioners. I guess the Congressman was here on Friday, Commissioner. He brought, as always, he always tries to bring funding to our community. He was here to make a check presentation to the Zapata Independent School District for their nutrition program, their summer, and their Boys and Girls Club summer meal program. We also, I had asked him to come and see if he could help us with our lake levels and the water situation we're having regarding our pumping station there on Falcon Lake. He did set up a conference call with IBWC officials, Texas Department of Agriculture officials, TCEQ. The commissioner of IBWC was on the call, so I appreciated that. And of course, he was on the call. We talked about how critical the needs are right now with the lake levels and all the sedimentation that's occurred on Falcon Lake over the last 50, 60, 70 years, that we're having a very difficult time. And this also applied to Sister Shores. Their access to their water plant, the water is at a critical stage also. They might even be having a little bit more difficulty than we are. There is, through USDA, there's a possibility of applying for some emergency drought grants up to $1 million, and we'll be working on those. Our consulting engineer who consults with Zapata Waterworks and Sister Shores was there in the conference call, Mr. Manuel Gonzalez, and so we'll be doing that. I guess, Commissioner, we do have an item on the drought proclamation, and I think we maybe can include some language to be able to proceed with the application process. It is an expedited process, so hopefully with those monies we can rearrange or improve being able to access the water there on where our pumping site is. So we'll try to move as fast as we can on that. I mean, the commissioner of IBWC basically stating the obvious, that the whole system is in crisis. There's very little water in Amistad. Falcon, of course, we're down to 12% of capacity. I think Amistad is at around the 20%. And the Mexican reservoirs, which supply most of the water to the system, are even lower. So it is a very difficult time. I just, this is not the first time we have problems. Just, it seems anytime we get below the 260 level, elevation level on Falcon, we start having problems. I think Mr. Perino can address to that and the problems we have. And it all comes down to the sedimentation on the lake. There was some, I won't say eagerness, but there was some input as to whether we can, in the future, have a large dredging project between the two countries. and extend the life of Falcon Lake. So that, the IBWC commissioner will be speaking with the Corps of Engineers and see if such a project can be undertaken and certainly, expand the length of time that the lake is a viable lake. So hopefully that will, of course, that would be a huge project that takes millions of dollars. But the short term, there are some emergency funds available that we're going to be trying to tap into and improve our infrastructure there so we can continue to provide water to our residents and not be under the emergency drought conditions that we currently find ourselves in. But it was good that the Congressman responded to our questions as soon as he could. So appreciate the Congressman coming down. I don't have any other communications, commissioners, anything else?
Judge, I have, a couple of weeks ago, we had an online auction for 41 items we had, at the county. And, they brought in a check Friday for almost $185,000, $184,930.20. And those will be distributed, on the revenue side of the various departments like the road and bridge and.
Okay, so they'll be going to, yes, that we, since I guess this is the second online auction
Yes,
that we
correct.
do with that company, we've had very good results. I think we'll probably have some more surplus equipment and, in the future, but yes, it has been it has been very favorable to the county to go that route.
Yes.
Instead of just having the local auctions and basically, minimal amounts of being paid. Yeah, I think some of the equipment went up almost to $50,000 for every piece, so it was a good option for Road and Bridge. And that equipment was obsolete. We had replaced it with new equipment, so it was basically gonna be deteriorating even more, so I think we need to move on and have those options.
Some of the things, some of the equipment doesn't work, and they just buy it for parts also, so.
Yes,
it works out
everything's
for
sold,
everybody.
even those.
It works out for everybody, yeah.
I think we even had some, weathered, PVC pipe that was very expensive. That was good, so, yeah, it was a good option. We'll move on to public comment. This section provides the public the opportunity to address the commissioner's report on any item on the agenda. Any members of the public? Yes, Ms. Anna Holcomb.
Hi,
Good morning. Good morning.
Anna Holcomb for the record. I'm here to ask a few questions about the windmill abatement, agreement. We want to know if it's been paid for this year, if the county has received the funds.
Yeah, well, they pay their taxes, of course.
Right, so then this is including the $50,000 that goes to the county fair, right?
Yes, well, as the agreement with each wind farm, there was a $250,000 payment that would be made to the county, and that would be distributed to the court's discretion. The court has identified several avenues for those monies to be spent, and yes, the county fair was one of those.
Okay, another question, because I'm getting phone calls, and the people are being told that the county is withholding the funds
Exactly,
for
I've been
the
having
county
that.
fair.
That
I've got
telephone
lots of calls. I know I'm not a commissioner or anything
No,
important,
they've been
but
calling me on
this
that too.
Yes.
Okay.
And
And
what I
why
want
we
to
have to
know is
get
because
blamed?
has
Why?
the county fair requested these funds first?
Yes, they talked to me, last week, so I'm looking into, make
Okay.
sure the money's came in.
Oh, they
Well, the
did.
county's not in a position to pay
They
for.
did. They're good.
Okay.
So another question I have is,
So it was last week then?
Yeah.
I have had conversations with livestock committee members, several of them, the weeks before the fair.
right,
And during the fair and after the fair as to how those monies would be allocated to the kids. And my understanding, and I at that time told the livestock committee members that those monies were already, they come in early on in the year. So those monies are in the possession of the county. And then they decided, my understanding is that they would be spending most of those monies on the smaller projects. So I guess we would just need a list of how those monies were spent.
I have a list, according to the Zapata County News, in 2021, they gave $20,100 to the kids. So there was apparently, I guess, 3,900 left, 4,900 left. Supposedly, according to what I was told, it was dispersed as an add-on to all the kids. I've talked to several parents, at least 6, that have that did not get an add-on from the wind farms. That's one. 2022, they've dispersed, or they've allocated $25,000 to the kids. So we'd like to know what they're gonna do with the other 25 if they're asking for the 50,000.
Yes, well, there has been an official request made to me, I guess they.
No, I've
have-
been speaking with Mr. Eloy Lopez last week, so
But have
we're
they-
gonna get it paid this week if all the monies were in, but
But
my
have they
understanding was only
complied?
25,000.
But have they complied with the order that was passed in 2021 here at Commissioners Court that they have to turn in their financials before they get?
No, they haven't done that, because I wanted to make sure that they had the money was here.
Can I have copies for you guys if y'all want them?
Well, the money's been here since early in the year.
Okay, well, it
Well,
depends
I
on.
think, what the order in October was, is
Not
these
bad.
are, all organizations need to be transparent. If we get an open records request, from anyone for the use of how we're spending county funds, we need to be able to say, this is how it was spent, this is what they're doing with these funds, and,
Here's the
there's been a
2020,
hesitancy, I
this
guess.
is the 2022, and there should be one, wait, there's 3 right there, let me get you one more. Mary Jane, give him that one, I'll give you mine, mine has scribble on it.
All right.
Here, but don't.
Well, I don't know if a list was turned over last year. Last year, it was what was allocated was 25,000 because one of the wind farms was late in their payment.
Well, they're behind a year, you're behind, so they didn't pay that year.
Yes.
This is this, and then this is the 4 for you guys from last year. And they only dispersed $20,100, and we'd like to know what happened to the rest of the money. And if they've only dispersed or pledged 25,000 this year, what are they gonna do with the other 25,000 that they're requesting? They should turn in an itemized list.
Absolutely.
What they're gonna do.
We'll require that before any,
But the parents need to know, because the parents are angry because they're saying the commissioners are withholding the funds, and other parents are being told that Joe Rasmus
Oh,
is
yeah, that-
withholding the funds, and we need to clarify that here
No,
today.
no,
Why?
I was withholding the funds, so I wasn't sure if we had gotten the money, because it depends, yes.
But-
Yeah,
I'm good.
so-
But-
I need to make sure that the monies were, we can't disperse what we don't have.
Exactly.
I would need to
the
make
money's
sure
been
that.
here since early January.
Okay.
Gonzalez.
But are they complying, and are they turning in a list? Cause all the monies, the 50,000 needs to go to the kids. It needs to be dispersed to the kids, not supposed to be used for anything else.
Exactly.
So they've only dispersed here, according to the newspaper, 25,000. What's gonna happen to the other 25? We'd like to see a list before it's dispersed.
No.
Yes, absolutely, we'll request that.
And if not, just the
And
25,000.
certainly to the
we'd like.
parents, the court, when we were doing these negotiations, we had the kids in mind, and certainly that these monies
Right.
are going to the kids.
And
Now, I
who
believe,
decides?
the way it seems is, they just made the request last week.
Yeah.
They had never approached me, personally, I had, they had reached out to me before the fair and said, would these monies be available? I said, of course.
And I
If we have, the county has them on hand already.
Yes.
But to say that the county is withholding these funds, I think is,
And another text that I was sent, and it was a copy of something that was sent. It says, we are praying that the wind farms pay next week.
Well, that's
The
not correct.
wind farms paid in
because these
January.
monies have been in the county's, coffers, since early January. And it's,
Responsibility.
certainly disappointing, and that's what the comments that are being made, disappointing that the kids are being held hostage.
And the parents
by-
are angry at you,
Yes.
and you,
No, well,
and you.
they should be mad at me, not at that, but.
Well, it doesn't matter, no,
Oh,
the
Well,
point is, I mean,
the
if they're not
request was made to you
complying,
last week.
Yeah.
The kids have been waiting since March. There's no excuse why those money should not be paid earlier. And then to wait at the last minute, once the school is about to begin the following year and say, well, wait, is that they haven't paid us? That's certainly not
and
accurate
kids are buying
statement.
projects already.
Also, the judges had conversations with them where they, every single penny that we donate is given to the kids, there's no,
Well, right there on the
that
paper,
charge.
it only showed 20,100 in 2021.
Yeah, last
In the paper,
year,
it shows 25. for
last
this
year, they did charge the 5% commission that they charged to regular buyers, and we made it perfectly clear that that commission would not be charged to county fund. They did reimburse the county, I think a little over $1,000, but, the county fair did. But certainly, yes, we made it really clear that those monies go straight to the kids without any commissions paid to the fair.
Okay, so then the county fair board has not provided you the necessary documents to get the money, right?
We'll get the kids paid off, on our part, we'll get kids paid either today or probably today.
Okay.
Well,
If everything's in order, if everything's
I
in
think,
order.
Gonzalez,
If everything-
we're gonna need a list of how these monies
Yes.
were spent.
Correct.
And I think the order that the court approved applies to them.
Yes.
They need to be providing the county, with all their financial records,
Correct.
including bank statements, receipts. And I'm not gonna hold the kids hostage because of this, but they need to provide all those documents.
Yeah.
So, for now, I think to pay these kids is, we're gonna need the list of exactly how they spent, who's getting what.
And I asked parents from last year, and nobody got the parents I spoke to, they didn't get an add-on. So where did the money go? I know they
And we'll
reimbursed you
request what they did with,
Last year.
21.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay,
then this
yeah,
year they don't.
it's unfortunate that the kids are having to wait
Yeah.
5-6 months.
Parents are angry, and parents need the money to buy their projects for next year. and
Mr.
they're-
Gonzalez, I hope they can get paid
These monies
today.
have been available now, if it's the failings of the board, I mean, they
Yeah.
need to accept that.
And they need to take responsibility for it
Exactly.
and not blame the court.
Judge, what I can do after this meeting is I'll talk to Mr. Eloy Lopez, get all that information, pass it by you to, so you can look at it also, and then we'll pay him off this,
You have to,
today.
you better pay him today.
We need to get that, we need to get the list of how these monies
Correct.
were allocated, and then, I think we need to deliver that order that we approved to them, requiring them to turn over all their financials to the
We'll get it done
county.
today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Of course, this wasn't an agenda item, but I think it's important, after that, I was getting calls too this over the weekend, and
Me too.
and it's difficult for me to say, you know, that we're holding the kids hostage, that the county is, and it's the county responsibility. Those funds have been there for the disbursement since early part of the year. And of course, they're blaming the wind farm, which is totally inaccurate, but they paid their money, so I think it's failings of the current board that should be noticed on that. We'll move on to approval of invoices, item number 6. Invoices from 7/8/22 through 7/21/22, for a total of $596,661.55.
Motion move.
Judge, before y'all approve, we have the sprinklers, and modules that we bought for the,
Golf course.
for the golf course.
Okay.
And y'all had approved, monies from the certificate of obligation for $2,963.96. It came in at $3,330.83. The quote was only good for a month. We took like 3 months, 4 months to order them. So it went up to $3,330.83, and I would like to add that onto the invoices.
Motion move.
Motion to approve with added, expense to the
$3,000.
Commissioner invoice, seconded by Commissioner Solis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Oh, going back to communications, Danny, I've seen in the audience, any updates on, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked there for a while, but I think it's important that we revisit, the COVID, in our area. I think since last report, which was 7/11/22, we've had an increase of 20 positive, to 2,497. Probable cases, went up to 1,459, which is an increase of 53, and there have not been any additional deaths, which is very good for our area. But I think most of us are aware that it's probably being underreported as to the number of cases that are actually occurring.
Yes, Judge. Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Yes, in regards to that, I had a meeting on Monday last week on Monday with the Health Department in Laredo, and they seem to be going through the same issue as almost everyone else, not just us, as far as reporting. Since there is no testing being administered through the third party, which was curative on our case, the Laredo doesn't have testing going on either, other than at their local clinics, which is, you would have to have a doctor's appointment, et cetera. Other than that, they are giving out the self-test kits, which are not being reported. So they went ahead and kind of fixed that issue or went that route, and they helped us as far as giving us a template of how to go about it. So now what we do, and before that, I want to thank Gateway. They provided us with self-test kits for the community. We did a drive on Friday, and we did issue out 315 test kits, which is a total of 630. We do have more left over, and we're gonna do another one this week. But like I was mentioning, so basically they give us a template where they self-report if it's a positive. Because the thing is that there's a lot of self-testing going on at the moment, which is the ones that are given out, or the ones that we buy, or the ones that the government provided, but none of these are being reported to their regions. So the numbers that the judge receives on the report as far as the new added positives in our community are not being accurate. We know for a fact, just because we're a small community, just me alone, I already counted over 100 people for sure that that either were positive, because now it's the 5 days, but the numbers obviously are not reflecting the way they're supposed to because of the self-reporting issues that we're going through. But like they mentioned, this is the best we can do. So now we have a flyer that we attach to the kit. We give them and we tell them the instruction. It gives them the instructions where to report it, but we help them out. We let them know. We also let them know if they have any questions to call the fire department, and we'll guide them through it. But that's the best we can do, because I mean, even at that, a lot of people don't report it. But the only ones that have to be reported are the positives. You don't have to report a negative unless you're positive. But we have to do our part as far as showing them how to go about it as far as reporting those positives. But like I mentioned, we do have a lot more test kits available, and we will be issuing them out. I think, Judge, what we're gonna do, since we had, like I mentioned, 315 test kits were given out on Friday, we're having a little issue with staffing and whatnot, so we are continuing our vaccination efforts as far as the fire department every Wednesday at the community center from 9 to 3. So what we're gonna do both of those things that same day instead of doing other days and, you know, having that staffing issue. So we, as of this week, we'll continue doing the administration of vaccines, and we'll be giving out the test kits that day as well. So test kits will be provided to the community for free at the community center Wednesdays from 9 to 3 as of today.
9 to 3.
Unless anything changes, I will definitely.
And there's vaccinations available too, vaccine?
Oh, yes. Since my last report, and I do apologize for being absent a couple of commissioners' court, and I assure the court, I just want to assure the court that if I'm not here, it's basically I'm at another meeting, since I'm involved in so many things. And, you know, I have other meetings going on. I'm not saying Commissioner's Court is not important, but I can only be, you know, so many places at a given time. But since my last report to Commissioner's Court till today, till this last Wednesday, we gave out a total of 273 vaccines. So that's an increase in people wanting the vaccine as well. So we gave out a total of 273, which is a mixture of first, second, third, and your first and second booster. And which brings our numbers to 5,180 vaccines administered already year to date by the fire department alone, not including CVS or other local clinics. And like I mentioned, we will continue with as long as Gateway continues to bless us with those test kits, we'll continue to disperse them amongst the communities, because the demand is there as well for testing. And vaccine availability remains the same, which is us Wednesdays from 9 to 3, CVS Monday to Friday, and DSHS Monday to Friday. And also, I did spoke to the judge last week in regards to the new vaccine that was authorized by the FDA, which is the Novavax. Novavax is a new vaccine that came out. It's been granted emergency approval by the FDA. So Bayos has it available for the providers, which is us, to order that. And basically that one's a new vaccine which would go on top of what you already have. It's just an option. You will be considered having to get your first primary dose and then your second dose 21 days apart. We will start asking around and see if the demand is there for that. We have not placed an order for it, but they assured us that they have an abundance of that vaccine if need be, that there is a demand in our county for that. But if there is a demand, I assure you we will get it, and we will offer it to the community if that is what is asked for. So just like I mentioned, it is for it's for 18 years of age and older. And like I mentioned, it does go on top of your primary series that what you have already, and it does require 2 doses, or anybody over the age of 18 and older can get it as a brand new vaccine if they're not vaccinated.
And you would start over with the
Yes.
regiment of
Yes.
3?
Yes, yes. Yeah. So, another vaccine.
Okay.
That's all I got for you all, unless you all have any questions for me.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you, Danny.
Thank you, appreciate it.
The fire season, I have a question. How's that going? We noticed 2 fires at the landfill. what is happening, in your estimation is going?
Well, as far as the fire season goes, when it first started, it was when we had the fire in San Ignacio that we were at it for
Yeah.
over 2 days in a row. And we did have an outbreak of other fires throughout the county. But after that one, we've had minor grass fires here and there compared to other counties in the state of Texas, where they're still, as of today, having issues with grass fires, requesting mutual aid and whatnot. But I don't want to jinx it, we've been good so far, other than minor fires here and there, grass fires. But we did have, like you mentioned, Judge,
The landfill, and that's basically just the result of the heat then? or-
result of the heat, and basically that's it, because everything else remains the same as far as the trash being.
But as far as combustion, how did that fire begin?
I mean, it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly what was the ignition source for that fire, but we're guessing either a piece of glass or, mostly, for the most part, it's a piece of a bottle of broken glass, and they have like a magnifying glass with that scoring heat that we have. So that's what we're guessing it was. But we did have 2 separate fires. It was not the same one, it wasn't not a reignition. It was, the first one was in another dump
cell,
area.
yeah.
And the second one, which was a little bit more big, that was a separate fire. It was 2 separate fires, but, Martin Science and his operators helped us out a lot, because we tried extinguishing with the water, but we weren't really doing much. But we do still want to let the people know, exercise their safety as far as, when they're doing control burns. It's kind of hard to monitor all that, but we do try, and for the most part, people's doing a control burn always call the fire department, because we have a daily email that we get, especially now with the fire situation, from a Texas Forest Service, and they give us, how bad it is as far as in regards to having a control burn, or a moderate level, high, as far as danger level. So they'll call us, and then we'll go from there as far as, we will allow you to burn today or we won't. But we recommend that they call us, because we get that information, not only the temperature, the dryness, but the humidity. A lot of this plays a role in, these grass fires. So we recommend that if anybody wants to do a prescribed burn, or at their ranch, or even here locally, to give us a call first and get that information before they do burn something up.
All right, thank you. And
Thank you.
Item number 7, Commissioners, approval of checks issued, and we had checks from 7/8/2022 through 7/21/2022 for a full of $596,661.55.
Judge, on this one, we would also add the $3,330.83 for the sprinklers, and it's 2 Ewing Irrigation and Landscape Supply.
Okay, motion by Commissioner
It'll
Garza.
be an additional 366, right?
Yeah, $366.
I'll second the motion.
Second by Commissioner Solis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving on to the action items, we will deliberate, consider action on item number 8, to approve a memorandum of understanding between Zapata County Independent School District and Zapata County for the use of the Los Ebanos Golf Course. Commissioners, of course, we've been, since we acquired the golf course, and by the way, we acquired it with the help of Texas Parks and Wildlife Grant. We were informed last week that the reimbursement that we were requesting for the purchase price of $650,000 has been approved and should be here at the Treasurer's office this week. So that's good news. We should be getting most of our money back. We still do, with the grant, it was $750,000. We still have $100,000 that we can use to improve the trails and anything else that the park will need for Parks and Wildlife to, I guess, to say it's completed. So we will be including a walking trail, which is I think pretty lengthy. I don't have the linear feet, but it's a good. It'll be a really nice walk for folks. We're trying to see if we can attach some lighting to the trail, and but those $100,000 can be used for that, Commissioner. So we'll have monies to finish out the project for the most part.
Have they said anything about the Miraflores part, Judge?
As far as reimbursements, we haven't really spent any monies on there.
But can we start already?
Yes, we can start.
Yes, you can start.
Yes, we can certainly.
Because I was waiting for, Manuel to let you know if they're gonna put it on the newspaper, to go out for bids.
Yes, we'll have to do that, so yes, you get with the engineer, but yes, we could move forward with that part two, that project. But this is, the golf course, of course, The previous owners had agreement, with the school district, for basically amounted to membership fees, for all the kids in the school district to be able to, learn the game of golf and play on the golf course for free. And basically this, I guess, kind of addresses that. We did, the payment to the county, for, allowing all school kids to play at the golf course would be, $40,000 per year payable to the county. And it's for a 3-year period, and it will be paid no later than September 30th of each year of this agreement. Mr. Figueroa also was COVID, and he informed us last night that he wouldn't be here for the meeting. I guess we could approve it, pending his signing off on it. I think the language on it is pretty clear. It'll be, available to all kids in the school district. Of course, there will be rules and etiquette, golf etiquette that the kids must abide by. Golf carts will not be included, in this agreement. So the golf carts do belong to the vendor, they're not county equipment, so, they will not have access to the golf carts, and I don't think they ever have. I think most of the kids walk the course. So.
I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum
Second.
pending approval from, legal.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Solis, seconded by Commissioner Garza. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Item number 9 is to extend the drought disaster declaration issued by the county judge on July the 8th, 2022. Commissioner, I issued the declaration mainly, because of the lake levels, and in speaking, conferring with Kingdom, they urged that the county issue disaster declaration to be able to, possibly tap into some help, some funds to help with acquiring equipment and other. It was for 7 days. The court, if it wishes to extend it, will have to take a required court action to do this. I think I'd like to include in this disaster declaration is to allow the county to apply for those emergency funds to address the pumping situation there.
Motion move.
Motion by Commissioner Garza, second by Commissioner Elizondo, and we will, extend it for how many days, Commissioner?
At
A
least.
couple of months?
Yeah, a couple of months.
We'll extend it for another 60 days, from today, and hopefully things will improve and we'll get some rain in our area. So we got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 10 is to approve payment to Martinez Electric Full Services for the installation and replacement of LED lights at Zapata County Courthouse. Motion by
Second.
Commissioner Solis, seconded by Commissioner Garza, and I think our parking lot lights had been out for a while. We had, I guess, the old halogen type lights, and so it was difficult in finding the replacement part for it, so we went ahead and replaced them with LED, and the amount is for $4,000.
$965.12.
Okay, so will that include that into the record?
Judge, going back to number 8, I'm sorry, I thought we were gonna have probably a little information from, Mr. Trevino. Is there any way that we can tell the public, 'cause I know that I've been getting calls about the water slides and stuff like that, are we gonna add any kind of restrictions to the?
No, there's nothing in the ordinance right now.
I know, so we're not gonna add anything, so the public will know, or?
No,
just-
we had that conversation, Mr. Trevino. I think in the middle of summer, kids are having a hard time dealing with the heat, and if that's one outlet that, they can have, those water slides, I think that's allowed them to keep doing that. So we didn't include.
Yeah, 'cause they called me and I told them to use them, so, yeah.
Yes, no, that's fine, but
Okay.
I think that it's the middle of summer, let the kids enjoy their water activities. So I think we won't be going, I mean, we're still able to, meet our needs as far as pumping, so it's not there's not enough water in the lake, it's just the access to where we're having a problem is the access to the lake.
Yes, I know I called Mr. Trevino because they've been calling me and I told them, to go ahead, but I just wanted to make sure that.
I didn't see Joaquin. Mr. Gonzalez, on the disaster declaration, we made a motion to include the ability to apply for those, emergency relief funds. So I guess you will need that. Good morning, Mr. Gonzalez.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. On Friday, Judge Rascal, myself, and Commissioner Solis had a meeting with Congressman Cuellar and IBWC, TCQ, and USDA. And some, I guess, some other of his members from his team. We discussed the water shortage or the, I guess, the drought conditions for Falcon Lake, Falcon Reservoir, for Zapata County and for Siesta Shores. The unique condition that we're in is that Falcon Lake relies on the Rio Grande for its water source, and so as the water in Falcon goes down, we're basically down just to the river at the Rio Grande. Like the judge just mentioned, there is water at the river, it's just the access to it makes it difficult for us to get. So we would have to look at maybe getting in our diesel portable pump down to the edge of the river, where that right now is a very difficult task because it's maybe easily probably 20 foot of sludge that's out there. So if you try to put equipment or even our portable pump out there, even our guys trying to just walk through there to get the hose to the middle of the river, it's very difficult. So we're looking to see if we could get some emergency funding. We asked if they could have any programs. They mentioned that there was a emergency water community program or grant that is up to $1 million in funding. It's called an ECWAC, and it's specifically for emergency conditions, which we currently are right now. We would have to have the county authorize us as your representative to do the application. And I tried getting online over the weekend, and it requires the county to contact USDA to give us permission to get into the online system. Once we have that, then we can navigate through their system and put the application. They indicated that it would be an expedited process that could mean, you know, a month or 3 months. But what we were searching for, the judge mentioned, is that if we could get a reimbursement agreement from the agency, that we could get reimbursed for any expenses that we incur at this time. So we have budget, let's say for a whole year, we can use some of that budget now, and then they can reimburse us, and we'll have our money for, you know, operations for the remainder of the year. So that's kind of what we're searching for, and see if we can do that.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
I think that's, so we included that in the action item to be able to authorize the county and authorize you to, so we'll make a call, I guess, to USDA shortly today.
I'll get with your staff, and we can call them from here from your office and see if we can get
certainly we can start moving on that application, and hopefully we can get approved. And of course, Sister Shores is in critical need also.
They're in the same condition, so we'll also contact their office so they can get us, they had a board meeting on Thursday, and they authorized us through their board meeting, just like you are today, to seek funding for them. It just, I hadn't seen where, when I tried getting into the system, they did verify us as engineers, and having worked for USDA in the past, it's just having to authorize us through formally.
And we'll do that.
Through the agency.
There's not a procurement process because it's emergency?
It didn't require one at this point, and I did look into that, and they didn't require that through the engineers or architects that would have to seek this, I guess, because it's through the emergency funds.
Okay.
But
I know USDA is kind of.
Yeah, they would have, what they did require is authorization from the entity, which is, that's what they're doing now, then that was their requirement that I saw in there.
I just want to make sure that.
That we don't get the funds and then say, well, you can't use them because we didn't.
I think regardless of county, we have emergency funds, we're gonna have to expend them. So I think we're bringing on Premier Engineering to develop a plan of action, exactly what would be the best way to access that lake. Start working on it, and then deal with USDA, hopefully we can get reimbursed. But regardless, we have to do something on the lake. But this provides us, I guess, some relief, possible relief to get those monies back that we expend on that. So, and we may have to help Sister Shores out again in the short term with.
We may have to open the interconnect and send some water that way, and it doesn't bring their pressure up, like, it doesn't get them like the pressure that they normally need, but it gets them water. So if they get in a condition where they can't, they are further out than we are from the river. We're almost at the edge of the river, and their intake the water continues to recede about, close to a half a foot a day.
Right.
And last we checked, they had maybe about 3 feet of water where they were currently located. Their raw water piping and electrical line had almost reached its limit. I think they had like 40 feet to maybe push further in, and then that was gonna be it. So they're looking to get some funds to get some cable to extend out temporarily, and also some piping to do the same, and then also the dredging would help.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge
All right,
Commissioners, appreciate it.
thank you. So did we approve item 10, Margie? also?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, we
So moving on, item 11 is to purchase 3 trailers and 1 mower for precinct 2 from Ron Hoover Company of Laredo Incorporated in the amount of $20,110, amount to be paid from the certificates of obligation series 2021. I think Commissioner, she still has money with.
Motion moved.
Motion to approve, Commissioner Garza, seconded by Commissioner Reeves. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 12 is to rescind approved item number 15 during Commissioners Court held July 11, 2022, which was not requested by County Treasurer Romeo Salinas. Let the court record reflect my total opposition of giving temporary Zapata County employees hired with grant funds medical health coverage benefits. This action would be a violation of Zapata County Employee Handbook policies. Commissioners, I think we discussed this in the last meeting. The reason it was included under his name is that he basically hand-delivered the item to my assistant. So we included it as it was. And we had discussions about whether, this comes down to Operation Lone Star, the governor's initiative, and if any employees, part-time employees that will be hired through the grant, they would be entitled to all the benefits that any county employee would enjoy. And with a retirement system, it would be a difficult task to bring them into the retirement system. But insurance, it's up to Commissioners Court, and I think given some of the job descriptions, especially deputies, law enforcement positions that will be brought in, I think it was important and a right decision that the court made to include them in our health coverage. Mr. Salinas was not present at that meeting, so he sent this subsequent agenda item to, I guess, express his discontent with the court, but basically, he hand-delivered that item, so it's not like we were trying to pull a fast one on Mr. Salinas. I will accept his opinion that he's not in favor of it, but it's up to Commissioners Court, and we approved it. Mr. Salinas couldn't be, reached out to me today, couldn't be here today. He's also COVID positive, so, but I would say I need a motion to deny this item, Commissioner. Motion to deny by Commissioner Solis, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Elizondo. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 13 is to investigate and study the best fiscal options to provide water service to customer located adjacent to Zapata High School. Mr. Perino,
Morning.
I think Mr. Gutierrez is in the audience, yes.
I just wanted to bring this to the attention of the court, because it's something that we're gonna be working on right now. I know I was talking to Mr. Manuel Gonzalez about seeing how we could get water to Mr. Gutierrez, who is located just east of the.
Well, currently he has water, I think it'd be an additional.
Sorry, not to Mr. Gutierrez, but yeah, to
So it'd be an additional meter on his, currently it is a private line into his property, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
So, I guess what we're working on to see if we're able to tap into a water line that will be located there at the Zapata, High School.
Okay.
I guess we're gonna try to find out to see if it's being metered or not, if it's a fire line, because if it's a fire line and if it's not being metered, then, and if it's okay with the school district, then we'd be able to tap in there and just.
And install a meter there.
Install a meter.
Well, that seems like a good scenario, possible scenario.
Gonzalez.
We have a school there.
Mr. Gonzalez.
I don't know if that would,
Judge
that's
and Commissioners, I briefly looked because Mr. Gutierrez and Mr. Paredes had mentioned that to me, and Mr. Trevino and I had looked into it and wanted to see how we could service a property, how best we could service a property as a community. And we also discussed it at the Highway 16 Water District, because they're also in favor of whatever would be best to service the customers of the community, whether it be the county servicing them or them servicing them, whatever would be the best option, they were okay, they were in favor of either option. I looked at the water line briefly. I went in on, I think it was maybe on Friday, and there is a fire hydrant in the school district property. What I noticed is that the fire hydrant in the school district property is next to the building, where we would then have to, if it is not metered, if it is just a fire line, where it would mean that it would be connected to the main without a meter, and it's just, you go and then there's a series of fire hydrants, along that line, and probably has at our main line a check valve, so then no water gets returned into that line because it's just water just sitting there for emergency purposes. Then that would be an unmetered main line. I did notice that to the east of that line, it's next to the building where you need the fire hydrant.
Oh, sure.
But then we have parking, paid parking to the east of it. So we could potentially, if it's not metered, run it to the property line. We would just have to cut through the asphalt and replace the asphalt, or the curbs and whatever else. And so then that's something that we would have to look at what those costs would be.
There's some considerable obstacles there.
Well, yeah, it can be done. It's just looking at the cost. Is like what's more cost.
What is the cost, man?
Huh?
What is the cost?
Well, to cut asphalt and replace it is usually like around, you probably know better than I do because you do it all the time. But it's probably like $25 $25
I'm just thinking out loud, but I know how the commissioners react when our waterworks cuts their streets, and you're not happy about it. I don't think the school district is gonna say.
That's you're probably more familiar with it than I am, because you get your streets cut more often than we have the school district streets cut. But it's not something that's not an option that's available. It just would have to be repaired.
How about that line, Mr. Gutierrez is in the audience, and you're free to speak up, Mr. Gutierrez. You apparently you do have a pretty 3-inch line, a good sized diameter line on that, on your property.
Yeah, but for them to have their own meter, they'd have to run a line all the way from 20th around.
No, but I'm saying to tap into that 3-inch water line, can we get an easement to go into his property to check that meter?
I think what
Or access.
How many, like if it's metered at 20th Street, right?
Yeah.
The line's then coming into the property along the back of the school, and then it goes south along the east part of the school district, then it goes back east. That 3-inch line that's going through there, I think potentially has multiple connections to it.
Okay.
Like one that goes to maybe the back of the ranch, one that goes to the house.
So high pressure would be.
Yeah, so
Water
might.
pressure would be fine. The 3-inch is enough for 50 customers.
Me feeding my stables and everything, it pretty much knocks down our.
Oh, you do, if you turn on your stables, your house is.
Yeah.
So if you had another,
Yeah, so it's not.
The only other option would be to put a meter there along 20th Street, but then again, no cost, that would be a big cost,
and for him to run another line.
It would be about almost 2 miles, well, about 1.5 miles from line. What we were thinking is if y'all ran, then again, it's cost, but if y'all ran to the edge of my property from that fire hydrant, then I would give an easement to put a meter at the property that borders the school district.
I don't foresee the school allowing us to cut up their parking lot.
Well, not without like having it repaired. So that's what I said, like it may cost more to cut the parking lot and then having it
then you
repaired
have
than
possible
running
water
another.
leaks in the future.
Running another line. But that's something that, if you guys want to go through there and you cover the cost.
Which building is it next to?
It's next to the weight room facilities. It's on the.
Where the gym is at?
On the west side.
The softball field and the.
Between the softball field and the weight room facilities, it's in between, there's 2 hydrants there. So you could cross that street.
Yeah, but I wouldn't even cross the parking lot if you went behind the building, right?
We had to cross, you could cross the street.
The street that meets the baseball fields?
The street that leads to the baseball field. So it's between the weight room and the softball field, and then the school is on the west, right? Or like the welding shop. And there's a road that goes back to there, so you cross the street or you cross the parking lot, that'll be the.
Across the street, you stay in the parking lot.
You could cross the street, you know, I mean, I'd have to take it back to the school districts.
Of
you know,
course.
But yeah, but it's something that if it would be doable, if you cross the street, so then just repair just the street. And then take it to the end of the property line. Now would be the time because they're building something like that right now.
Well, and at one point, they're gonna expand, and I mean, you're gonna have to move fire hydrants out, I mean, the schools are growing.
That's a possibility.
So if you're ready to extend for us and put a fire hydrant in, that would be a plus.
So in the county's case,
You're gonna kill me.
I guess our case scenario for the waterworks is to add another meter where they have their meter now, and let them run your own line again. Would that be our best scenario?
If the fire line is not being metered and if it be viable and the school district allows to go cut only that road, maybe that will be one option. If not, another option will be.
I think in the future, they're constantly adding, and I think in the future, the school district continues to grow. They're gonna be adding more buildings, and so if you're gonna have a private water line in there somehow, I think, just thinking, it'll become a problem for.
It could, I mean, so we have, the option that we have right now is that one right there, the one on 20th Street, that's the county, both of them are the county, right? And then the one that's on 16, that's the other water districts, along 16. So then that one would be I guess the other option, going under 16, getting across, and then servicing those properties there on the front.
So the water line's on the east, I guess, south side?
It's on the south side.
Yeah.
So there's two options for Zapata County, and the other option would be for, Highway 16, because that would be their district, and they would have to.
Y'all would have to annex
work
that
with-
property over to them because it's in y'all's district.
Okay.
Yes, well, that's another thing, we're having to, redefine the annexed areas because it's in Zapata's district, but there is a slight overlap in that area. It's been like that probably since 1992 when the district was formed, but the school district and the Gutierrez property are in,
Highway 16?
yeah.
Wow.
Well,
So the county.
they're in the counties, they're being serviced by the county, but they're overlapping in districts. So we just to clarify that.
Well, what is your recommendation, man?
Keep looking.
Our recommendation is, I mean, like, for, I guess it would be to have it connected on 20th Street going along the back of the property and connect, or on 16 connecting from
I think-
16. But whichever is cheaper of those two options, that would be my recommendation. But I'm not opposed to any of the three options, as long as somebody's gonna cover the cost of the.
Yeah, I think looking at it, Joe, the three options, I think the best option is the one you have right now, what you're using. I know line, currently if you run a 2-inch line, it's, I think around $50 a joint. How far do you have to go?
About a mile and a half.
It's a long ways.
So, yeah, you're probably looking at 300 joints, so yeah, it's just the material is, about $15,000.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, like, if it's cheaper to go
I'm
run the main through the district and put in a meter at the other end,
So-
I wouldn't be opposed to that. I'd have to run it through the district, but I wouldn't be opposed to having that main going through. You'd have then movement through that fire line, instead of being a dead line, it would be a active water line, which not a bad thing, and, that's something that, we could potentially, consider as well.
Okay.
It may be, I guess cost-wise, I don't think it's gonna be that big of a difference.
I think they're all about gonna be comparable.
I think they're gonna be around 15,000.
Yeah. I
Ballpark.
think they're all gonna be comparable.
It may be cheaper, I think, to go on 16, do the bore under 16, and connect right there on the front. Even the annexation for that whole tract, the annexation is $5,000. So, and then the bore is gonna maybe be,
10 to 15.
yeah, so you're gonna be ballpark, maybe less on the bore, because it's not, you don't need such a big line. You could do a 4-inch line.
But the
and-
permitting process, and it might take a big time consuming.
Yeah. So-
I think time-wise, I think, just looking at the three options, I think what you have now, Joey, might be the way to.
What size line do y'all have in the school district for the fire?
It should be a minimum of 6.
A 6-inch.
And what would it cost me to run it to the edge of my property for y'all? I mean, it's benefit to y'all.
Yeah, well, it will be on your cost, but the problem is, that'll be a school decision.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if the school approved, I mean, which I'm sure it would, because in the future, you're gonna have, you know, fire hydrants at the edge of the property in case they build up there, which.
It looks like they are continuing to build, so that might be enough, but I guess you'd have to reach out to the school district, get on their agenda and see,
Yeah, cause the materials itself, they're like maybe about $7 or $8 a foot. And so it just depends on how many feet you're going across from that spot, so maybe 1,000 feet. Ballpark?
Yeah.
800 to 1,000
Yeah.
to get to your fence line? Maybe less.
Yeah, I don't think it would be that much.
No, it's about a block.
700.
It'll be cheaper
Yeah.
than the mile and a half.
Huh?
It'll be cheaper than running the mile and a half.
Oh, yeah.
So it's depending on the school board, really. I guess, right?
okay?
Well, I'll bring it up the next meeting. See.
All right.
All right.
Thank you. So no action, Commissioner? Item number 14 is to review the construction progress of the Flores Drainage Project Precinct 1 and approve invoices. Mr. Gonzalez, the Flores project, the drainage project.
Okay, so this one. You take one and pass one. On the Florence project, Judge and Commissioners, this is the one that Commissioners Court had approved previously. It's the one next to Carter Street. And we're looking to, the county acquired an easement there from the Medina family to improve the channel.
Yes.
We did have our equipment, county equipment in there, and we kinda cleaned out the channel. We've got a contractor in there, installing, they backfilled. It was maybe about a 4 to 5 foot, I guess, elevation difference between the existing concrete and the channel bottom. So they filled that back in, they shaped it up, and so far they poured, 15 foot by 20 foot wide, section.
I've seen that.
And then we need the wings to be poured, and then we need we have a small retaining wall on either side to hold the channel together. Our intention was to go to the end of the property that's there, which is about 140 feet. We may not be able to go to the end of it where the cost of materials has gone up significantly from when this proposal was done. The proposal was done in 2021.
Yes.
And then we had this escalation of costs in February, from, I guess, just, availability of materials. So then I would say that we would just do as much as the existing budget covers and then cut it off at that point. And so if it covers, 40 feet, then we do 40 foot in depth. If it goes, the 60 or 80 feet that we need to go, then we go with.
How much do we budget for this? I know it's been a while, Gonzalez,
Right off the top
I
of my
mean,
head.
You had budgeted real close to the 27 that we have.
Okay.
But so that's what was budgeted, but it's gonna cost probably more than that.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying is like if we go just to what was budgeted, then that'll, cover up to that point, and then that's it. We would stop at whatever's in the budget.
Even if we don't, I guess, finish the entire length of the
It will
property.
be an improvement.
Yes, cause I guess we already straightened the channel out, so the water flow will not be directly into their property, I guess.
That's what was happening is that the culvert there is at an angle.
Yeah.
So when the water comes through, it's coming in directly at the property, and specifically on the east side of the channel, it was eating away. Fence had already been knocked over,
Sure.
had already been, I guess, taken with the last storm that we had.
Right.
And, so we're looking to, like you said, it'll keep the channel, I guess, straighten it back out and push it a little bit
So
further down.
it won't damage his property any longer anyway.
Right.
It shouldn't.
Yeah, so what I told the contractor is like, right now, just do 15 feet, cut the whole, all the sides and everything. And then if we still have money in the budget, then we do another 15 feet, but the whole thing. That way we don't do the middle all the way down, and then we're missing all the sides, and it's.
That's fine, that's the way it goes, so, yeah, need a motion to approve the.
I'll
And
make
I'll
a
look
motion
just
to
to see
approve.
how much we had budgeted.
Yeah,
I'll let the court know.
it should, I think it was close to 30, I think.
It was real close to 30.
Yeah.
I think what you had.
Got a motion by Commissioner Garza, second by Commissioner Solis. Any discussion, to approve invoice number 1 for,
It's Guzman Juarez Backhoe Services, and there's one for, Premier Engineering.
yes, so, and the total is 14,400, is that?
No, the,
5,000.
this is 5,000 for this.
Oh, for this one is 5,000, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for-
45 and 5.
Okay.
45.
Okay, so we've got an invoice number 1 for 5,000, motion by Commissioner Garza, seconded by Commissioner Solis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. 15, Commissioners, will be, an executive session item, and then we've got some consent items.
Make a motion to approve the consent item.
Motion by Commissioner Garza to approve consent items number 16, 17, 18, 19, and basically their line item transfers and one street light on 2409 Lincoln Street. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Solis. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. I need a motion.
I'll
to
make a
enter-
motion to go to executive session.
Motion to enter into executive session, seconded by Commissioner Solis. The item to be heard is to enter into an agreement to acquire private portable building situated on county property, near the animal control shelter. And we will be going under business under section code 551.071, consultation with attorney, and 55.
Let me take this out and make sure that this is what yeah.
I'll make a motion to go back to regular session.
Motion by Commissioner Garza to return to regular session, seconded by Commissioner Solis. For the record, no action was taken in executive session. Item number 15, Commissioners, is to enter into an agreement to acquire private portable building situated on county property near the animal control shelter. Commissioners, this building, I guess, has been on county property for many, many years. I think it used to reside where our Welcome to Zapata sign is currently located. The county, at county expense, moved it into county property for that, when that building, when that entrance was constructed. Apparently, a Zapata resident has been claiming ownership of that property, that building, for many, many years. The county had agreed to allow her to remove the building. Over the years, she has failed to remove the building for various reasons. She came in to visit with me last week on the possibility of the county making an offer to purchase the building from her due to her difficulty in being able to move that building to another location. She offered a price, she mentioned a price that it would take for her to relocate or move the building from the county property. I think the court, after discussion, will make an offer to purchase the building from her for $3,500 to acquire the building and go from there. So I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Garza to offer the individual $3,500 to purchase the building, seconded by Commissioner Solis. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will let her know that there we have an offer of $3,500 to purchase her building on top of that.
Motion to adjourn.
Property. Motion by Commissioner Garza to adjourn, seconded by Commissioner Solis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are now adjourned. Thank you, Commissioner.